All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second episode of A Dash of Salt. Today's special guest to my right would be ReallyKerns.
Hello, hello. How are we doing?
Good, good. Thank you for joining me today.
Dude, of course. I've been excited about it all week long, man.
I've been a little bit nervous, I'll have to admit. I was like, okay, I hope this goes well. I hope I don't embarrass myself.
No. I think this is good. I think this is awesome. I love hanging out with you, and I think you're doing great things. So I'm super excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, for anyone who doesn't know, A Dash of Salt is where we sit down with other Twitch streamers, content creators, and ask them about their journey, how everything's come to the point where they are now. So to start things off, introduce yourself. Who are you?
Well, I don't know. My normal Twitch spiel is I'm ReallyKerns. I'm a Twitch streamer. I do TikTok things. I do other social media, and I'm like trying this whole content creation business, But at the heart, I'm just a teacher, really.
Well, you're the coolest teacher I've ever met. I'll say that. I've never met a teacher who is just as active with the things you're doing. I had a teacher in high school. I still remember him to this day, Mr. McCain. He played RPGs. He played JRPGs, and I remember this game that came out, Lost Odyssey, and I was super excited for it. And I saw the game on his desk one day, and I was like, "Hey, do you play games?" And sure enough, he opened his drawer, and he just had like a thing. This was like when the 360, I think, was out, so back in the day. But immediately became my favorite teacher right away.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
What I know I've heard the story a few times, but for anyone who doesn't know, what got you into the streaming thing?
So, I mean, it's definitely been something that's like just about anybody who kind of grows up in, I feel like, our time frame, it's like, wow, YouTube was getting popular, gaming was getting popular, like people were starting to finally make careers out of it, and it's like, man, that'd be awesome to kind of like do. And I had never really done any of that kind of business, but I thought, why not give it a shot? And I had a couple students kind of come up to me, and after it was like not a bad day, but it was one of those days where kids were just being kids. They were just ragging on each other, being rude. Sometimes they just forget how happy and lucky they should be to be in high school. And like I just kind of got after them. I was like, hey guys, you need to be nice to each other. These are the people that like in 4 years you'll never see again all in one place. Like, just live this moment for a little bit with us. And like follow your dreams, and don't make fun of people for following those dreams. And I had two students come up to me very next day, and like I was in the cafeteria, it was just like breakfast, and I was just chilling, hanging out with some people, and they were like, "Hey, Mr. Kerns, when are you gonna like take up your own advice?" And I was like, wow, wasn't really expecting for two high school kids to kind of like call me out and like
get super existential with you real quick.
Yeah, right. Like these are two high schoolers that I was just reprimanding for like giving other students a hard time, and now they're giving me a hard time for not following my own advice. And so that kind of like jump started that idea, and that was like right before COVID probably started.
Okay.
And like we went on spring break a week later, I think, and then it was like, okay, how do I get my hands on gaming setup? And I already had like a desk and a PlayStation, but that was really it. And I worked my butt off the next couple months to get PC and another monitor just to read chat. And that was like the forefront of how it all kind of started.
Nice. Were you at all in the Twitch world before then? Like, were you watching videos? Did you have people you were tuning into, or was it kind of just a new thing all at once?
Not really. I kind of went from, I don't even think I had Twitch downloaded on my phone.
Okay.
Actually, I had Twitch downloaded on my phone. I had a friend that had kind of given streaming a little bit of a shot. Here and there, he would stream Call of Duty. I mean, he's like an amazing Call of Duty player. Could probably get on a team somewhere just being good at Call of Duty. And I remember helping him try to get to affiliate. At that point, I didn't even understand it. Like, I didn't understand, like, why did you need 3 people in chat? Those types of things. Like, I had no clue about any of this. And then, like, I think I created a new account. I created a, all new, like, social media for this. And then I started watching every single YouTube video and started learning what Twitch streaming was.
Yeah, I was
like that. June.
I was never really into Twitch too much. I knew what it was, obviously. It's been around for 5 years, 6 years or something like that.
5 or 6, I
You
think.
know, like I knew the concept of it, but I was never into long form entertainment like that. So like it
Yeah.
just never crossed my mind, you know. But then I was always
Yeah.
into podcasting and I was like, it's pretty much the same thing as someone just talking for hours. So let's give it a shot.
Yeah. I mean, like I grew up watching a lot of YouTube. I mean, like YouTube playthroughs,
Mm-hmm.
YouTube tutorials and things, and like I like that kind of I like that kind of media. Um, and even when I first started, it was kind of hard for me to be in somebody's chat for a long period of
Yeah.
time. There were people that I supported because they were supporting me, and I got to know them, and I then learned to enjoy um, Twitch streaming. But it was probably not until I met Uncle when I like really fell in love again with the idea of like just being in people's chats. Now I'm in people's chats all day long because it's summer
Yep.
break and I can do that. But like now it's just it's the type of media that I consume now.
So you touched on it just a tad bit when you were explaining everything, but you said you kind of got into it a little bit before COVID. Was it
Yes.
around that time, a little bit before?
Yeah, so it was like right as I was like trying to like I was trying to figure out what I needed to do to like become Twitch streamer because I just didn't have the gear to even think about it. And honestly, at that point, I just watched one YouTube video and it said that I needed a PC and a camera, which now I know is not necessarily the truth. But in my brain, I was like, oh, that's what I need. So maybe now I shouldn't tell my wife that I probably didn't need those things to
Right.
start. But hey,
I did the
I got
same
away with
thing.
it, I guess.
You watch
I got
like
away with it.
5 YouTube videos, like this is the things you need, and okay, I believe you. I'm gonna get it. You know.
I'm like, babe, I have to buy this
Yeah.
capture card right now,
I bought a
or else
capture
I will
card and
fail.
didn't need it. You know, like
Yeah, exactly.
that's how it goes. Did you so getting into the streaming when COVID was really becoming a thing and quarantine was popping off, did you notice the explosion that was happening on Twitch? Because from the numbers alone, it seems like the viewership has doubled in just that time.
Yeah, I mean, like I started in late July, and so I didn't start before like the whole COVID thing and lockdown of the summer. Like, I mean, I kind of think back. I was like, man, if I would have started in
Mm-hmm.
March, that would have been huge because there were just so many more people. I could have been ahead of TikTok and those types of things, blowing up even more so. But no, I definitely think there was a huge explosion of people being on Twitch. Even this winter, when people were still pretty locked down and
Mm-hmm.
concerned about COVID and weren't traveling for Christmas, there were still I was pulling my biggest numbers in December. I mean, of being on Twitch and TikTok and those types of things. So yeah, I mean, there was definitely a massive blow up, and I've and now I think a lot of streamers are noticing now that um, things are kind of slowing up. Growth is a little bit slower. Sometimes still come in and say hi, but then they maybe have to go, and that's just one of those things that we have to understand because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the world is opened back up, and yeah, go out there and see it.
So I'm noticing that's been a difficult thing for certain people to grasp. You know, for streamers, you know, you get so
Mhm.
lost in the numbers. You know, you
Oh yeah.
after a stream, you go look at your numbers and you kind of base like how well your stream did just off those numbers. You know,
Mhm.
which really it shouldn't be. It should be on how you feel about the content you're putting out.
Right.
You know, but I've been seeing a lot of streamers talk about giving up during this time just because their numbers just aren't what they used to be. And in that December time period was probably like that was like when I was viewing every day, like
Mhm.
so I was
Right.
just trying to tune into everything I could. And the same people I was watching then aren't even streaming as much anymore because it doesn't
Mhm.
seem worth it to them.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of people that I was really close with in July that were streaming that are no longer doing it, and like I haven't seen them on Twitch, in other people's communities that I've seen,
Hmm.
or in mine, or others. Like I think they just kind of moved on, and I think burnout with Twitch is super high,
Yes.
especially if you look at those no numbers. I mean, I had a couple dips a couple months in a row, and I mean that was rough for me. And then, but now I'm just so blessed. I think I just took a step back and realized that like regardless if I stopped or like everything for some reason my setup just stopped working, I would still have all of these friendships. And I
Hmm.
think that changing that mindset to like, oh, I want this to take off so badly, to take thinking like, wow, I have all of these beautiful friendships that are not gonna stop just because I couldn't stream anymore or I lost my passion for it. That doesn't stop me from having those friendships. And I think changing that mindset was huge for me.
I agree. one thing I've talked about with my wife before is, you know, even if this never becomes a thing for me, an example, you know, if I never get the viewership I'm hoping for or whatever, I still appreciate the bond I've been able to have with certain people. And it's something I can look back on and be like, hey, I was happy to press that go live button every day. You know, when you're in the moment, it almost seems stressful to press that go live button. But, you know, like looking back at times and looking back like on certain streams you had with friends and how good of a time it was, you know, it's like, I'm going to miss that. And someday it's not going to be there. So I feel like the people who are a little bummed out by the numbers just need to, it's a humbling experience, right? In a good way. Not in, it doesn't need to be negative, but it's humbling for anybody to see their numbers dim. Like, okay, well, life's happening again.
100%. And I mean, I think one thing that everybody needs to understand is that, like we had an extreme opportunity with COVID, being able to do these things and create these things. But like now we can't be selfish and pray that people stay locked up inside.
Exactly.
Like, you know, I like my wife and I are planning a trip that's going to take me away from Twitch world for probably a little bit over 7 days. Does that scare the hell out of me? Because I'm like, man, what if nobody comes back? Yeah, of course it scares me. But at the end of the day, I was like, if I don't go on that trip with my wife and my 2 best friends, when's maybe the next opportunity? Because they're about to settle down and they're thinking about kids quickly.
Like, oh, geez.
Like, that's the end. Like,
it is. Trust me, it is.
Like, no, it's like we probably don't have the opportunity to travel like that again.
Yes, exactly.
And I can't lose that opportunity in the fear of losing a different opportunity, because at the end of the day, that opportunity of Twitch streaming is still going to be here.
Yeah. For example, you know, about a month or so ago, I had an opportunity to go down to Florida and experience one of the first sporting live events in America since it come back on. It was the UFC event, and you know, 17,000 people in an arena, and it was awesome. You know, I was always the type to go to basketball games and stuff like that. NBA is my favorite thing to go to. I just love the environment. So it's cool to have those moments again. And you know, when you step away and you're able to have those moments, it's like, okay, I get it. People are back out there again.
Oh, yeah.
So going into you as a streamer, I kind of gravitated to you right away just because I loved your setup. Like, Twitch is very aesthetic, right? You know, you tune into something 100%. And it's like, oh, this is a good vibe. You know, I'm liking what he's got going on. And immediately when I saw your setup, I was like, wow, that's really good. Like, I'm really digging that. What made you come up with what you got going on?
So I don't even know. My wife hates it. My wife absolutely hates it. She's like, this looks ugly. She's like, I would not aesthetically do this. She doesn't hate it, but she like these shelves I loved. I don't know how I came up with this, but I just like, originally it was going to be something different, but I was like, I know I want shelves behind me with stuff on them. Eventually I'm going to try to get some more stuff on the floor. It's just money is a thing. My wife says I can't spend anymore for some reason. And you know, the lights up top help a ton. Like, that's my only lighting in here, except for this, you know, lighting's in the shelf, and I have a ring light.
Okay,
you know,
okay.
That's really it. So like, and the ring light, I don't even know if it really works at this point, but you know, pegboard, I was like, I think that would just be cool to showcase some tools and keyboards, and usually it's not even on stream, but for here it is. I don't know. I really wanted to just showcase who I am. I'm a pretty big nerd, so I have like, you know, Star Wars, Witcher, Office, Harry Potter, a little corgi for Thor. And then I always knew that I wanted the classroom board, you know, to show raids, bits, and subs, because those things mean the absolute world to me. Like, you know, when I look at stats, I never look at those things. Like, I only look at how many people were watching.
Yeah.
But like, those things mean so much to me that I want to every Monday before I start streaming, I erase that board and I look and take a picture of that and think about how blessed like these people gave me. Like, people brought community over, people gave me something. I had another streamer, Echo Zeta, donate me $20 to buy a new game.
That's
which
crazy.
Just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, what in the world are you doing? No, stop.
Your community has been, it's great. Like, I love jumping into your streams and just hopping in chat, because your community is so loving, and it's just, you know, like when you go to other people's, it can become a toxic place at times, you know, like any social media platform, you know, it can become really toxic. And I think you've done a great job of building a community that is just well-mannered, polite, genuine at that. I've never seen someone typing in this and then jump over somewhere else and they be rude somewhere else. Everyone's
Yeah.
like who they are, so it's really cool to see. What do you think is how'd you build that community? What were you able to do during your streams to grow such a great bunch of people?
I don't know. I don't know if like there's any one specific thing, but like I know having TK, who is AKA my mother, be my Twitch mod, and like I every time I talk about this with people, I always bring up my mom because my mom has fully embraced the Twitch community.
It's so
My mom,
awesome.
my mom a year ago would not have been able to spell Twitch probably. But now like she super active in Twitch. She's super active in my Discord. Like the amount of times that there have been somebody that's going through a social like mental problem, my mom is on top of it, giving the best advice. Like my mom has completely dedicated herself to be literally my Twitch mom.
A
Like
mom's
I mean,
mom.
she is, yeah, she is there to be the parent and to help and be loving and have a hard, firm fist when needed. And I think part of that like helps a ton. I have another mod, Amy, and they work together super well. Amy and then Penguin are coming to visit me this at the end of the month. Um, so I think that's a big part of it. Just the people that are in here, they genuinely just want to see other people succeed and be happy. Um, and I think that's just been huge. I don't think I have anybody that's like selfishly wanting to be something else or get something else out of
Mm-hmm.
it. They're all there for just being super kind and genuine to people. And I think maybe the biggest aspect is that like a lot of people in the community around me are also in other really nice communities that I'm
Yes.
close with, and that's been huge. Um, and and better than anything I could have ever hoped for.
So it's so amazing that you have your mom jump in, and I know you have a wife as well, and you lightly touched on it. How has been having your family support you through this, helped you? Like my wife supports me. There have been days I don't want to, like, because I set a schedule up and I'm trying to
Mhm.
stick to it, but those days I don't want to do it, my wife's there to just say, hey, come on, you got this, you can just go do it, just do it for a couple hours.
Yeah.
Like
Uh,
if it wasn't for her, I don't even know if I'd still be doing it.
yeah, and that's awesome to have that kind of support, and just just that kind of love. My wife was definitely weirded out by the idea at first. She didn't understand it necessarily. She was happy that I was so happy about it, but other than that, she was like, I really don't get this whole Twitch world. Like, what are you talking about? Why are people watching you? And my wife's family still, every time I think we see each other, like, what do you do? Like, why, or people, like, why do people, how do you make money from this? And I'm like, well, I can explain it to you, but you're just going to ask me why. And I can't tell you why and how and why do they do that. Um, but they're all super supportive and they all know how happy it makes me. So they're
Mm-hmm.
all like, okay, Adam is fine. Kerns is good. Like, whatever, let him be. And so that has just been huge and they'll let me talk about it. They'll ask me about it. Everybody's been supportive. They just, sometimes people just don't understand. And
Mm-hmm.
I truly don't think you can understand until you get in the world. Like,
100%.
you do not understand the weird family that is combined with Twitch until you're in one.
Yep.
Like, it's like, I can't explain it.
So my buddy Brad, Brad at Brad Bakers here on Twitch. He was in the last episode.
Mhm.
He was that person. Like I started streaming because we had a podcast, and my original idea for streaming was to grow the podcast, and that's why I started doing it.
Mhm.
And then it quickly turned into something else. But I told him I was doing this, and he's always been supportive of everything I do, but he'd never understood, like, well, why are you doing, like, people watch, like, they're talking to you, like, he didn't understand. And now you see him, he's in your chat, like,
Mhm.
he's
Yeah. Yep.
streaming. It was a very quick, like, turnaround. It's like, but yes, you do kind of have to live that world for a minute to kind of
Mhm.
understand and grasp the full concept of Twitch. It's a weird world, it really is.
Oh yeah. But it's a good weird. Like, I think people think the word weird is like a negative thing, but like no,
Oh,
it's
no,
like
no, no, no.
the weirdest kind of love ever. Like, I mean, like, never in my mind would I've ever thought I would have two people flying into my state and then coming down to see me. Like, that
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 is
is
awesome.
insanity being me. It's crazy that my wife's okay with it. Like, my wife is like, oh, another female person is one of your mods is a female and she's gonna come stay at her house. What? Like, I mean, just like that's like if you told any other person in the world, this random person who's a girl around my age is flying into my state to come live with to come stay with us for a couple days, they would be like, "Who? What in the world are you talking
Hmm.
about?" Just, I mean, but it's Twitch. That's
It
all it
is.
is.
It is. People are just, it's, I hear the term parasocial relationship a lot, and like this
Hmm.
relationship between someone behind a computer and the creator, the person giving themselves to a community, and um, I definitely can understand how like you get to that viewership that's so high to reach that, yeah, you can't talk to every single person. You
Right.
can't put a
Right.
face to every single person. But what I will say, the biggest thing about being a small Twitch streamer that I've really
Hmm.
come to enjoy, and I hope I never lose it, is that I can interact with every single person that comes in.
Oh yeah.
It just makes it that more genuine, more sentiment. I love that somebody would take the time out of their day and be like, "Hey, let me go see what they're up to." What
Yeah.
is what is the thing that, excuse me, uh, that kept you going through those hard times when like, hey, I don't want to do it today? Because there have been times where like, it's like say for when the numbers are low, or
Mhm.
a game I thought was going to do well didn't, or an idea I had didn't do well, that bummed me out. What are those things that kind of pump you out of that moment to try and find something new to do?
Definitely other streamers. The amount of times that I lean on another streamer or another content creator just to like give advice, like just to hear advice and say, "Hey, this is what is mentally going on in my head," and then just have them basically slap me and be like, "Kerns, what are you talking about?" Um, for the most part, it has been Uncle Cranston. I mean, you know who Uncle
Such a
is. I
gem.
mean, Uncle, dude, yes. I mean, he's literally one of my best friends at this rate. I mean, just in general in life, not like just Twitch. Just he's one of my best friends. Um, in the amount of times that he was like, "Kerns, you got this. You can do this." Like he pushed me to do the Little Nightmares stream where I streamed the
Yeah.
whole game in one day. And it was awesome. I had a ton of fun. Loved it. I mean, he just leaning on other people is a huge proponent in just kind of having those people around you to talk to. And the thing is like people I feel like always say like, "Hey, DM me if you want to," but like a lot of people don't ever do it.
Yeah.
I'm always that person that's like, "Okay, I'll DM you and talk to you." But like definitely reach out to people and always, listening to hear what advice you have. And sometimes it's not even you're doing something wrong. It's just you just got to push through a slow spot or something.
Hmm. Yeah, I will say that's a listen, I've always I'm always been the one to shoot my shot. You know what I mean? Like you got to shoot to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
got to. So like, uh, I've always been that type. I've never been. I feel like I'm polite enough where I'm not like, hey, come talk to me. You should do this. You know what I mean? But like, I feel like I,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
approach, just approach them the right way, and it could be a little bit different. But that's one of the things on Twitch that I've had to come to realize is like, hey, there are communities that are open. And like yesterday I was in
Hmm.
Soapstream just looking for some advice on a couple things, and people were so willing to share their information. And like it's never been like that for me, especially in my field of work. Like you ask
Yeah.
somebody about some information that makes them a ton of money, you know what I mean? They're like, I'm not telling you anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the people that we have around us, I don't know who all community you're in, but I know you're in a lot that are similar to the ones that I'm in. But like all of those people are just so open and welcoming, and we like it's not like a follow for follow
Yeah, yeah,
scheme,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it's definitely like we want other people to be able to be supported and
Mm-hmm.
heard and successful. It's not like, hey, we're just supporting to support. It is a genuine we want the best for people, and
Exactly.
that's what we're here for.
So I know you have a full-time job. You said it, you're a teacher. How has
Yes.
been this juggling? It's hard to like work 40, 50 plus. I don't know how many
Mhm.
hours you work. I'm sure teachers put in a lot of work grading assignments and stuff. How do you
It's
juggle
decent.
everything?
Y- sometimes you don't. You just don't sleep.
Okay.
There's been nights where I like stay up until 2 o'clock in the morning and I wake up 6 a.m. to go do teaching. I mean, and that's the reality of it. And my wife's like, "You're literally insane. Why are you doing this?" I'm like, I had to get this little thing done and set up for stream.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to, and so been super blessed to just be able to kind of do that and somehow manage. There for a while, I was like, I just took a small break with TikTok. I was just reposting some old content and just kind of recycling, and then I picked it right back up where I left off this summer. Um, but it's definitely a lot, and I think a lot of people try to pick up Twitch on top of like school work and other things. Like, and it's hard. Like I tell young people, like, I could have never done this at your age.
Oh
Or I
man.
tell people in college, I was like, there's no way. Like, I was like, so just anywhere that you're at, like, you're doing way better than I could have done, because there's no way I physically could have done this. Um, and so, I mean, it is a lot. I coached 2 sports this year.
Oh jeez.
I'm putting on prom with my junior class. I mean, and teaching Twitch and TikTok. I mean, and still finding time to do family stuff. So, I mean, it is a lot, and I will never tell somebody that it's like super easy. And I just did it. And it was easy. It was fun.
You're looking at a
But yeah,
modern day hero, guys.
I don't know about that. But,
No, I think it's awesome.
but
Like I've congratulated you before. Like I give praise to teachers. I think it's a selfless job. Like you're molding the minds of people that are going to go into the world and be our future. And like no
yeah.
one's thanking you along the way. So like personally, from me to you, thank you for doing what you do, and thank you for being on Twitch. It's an amazing thing. But
Well, dude, I mean, I always appreciate the thanks from everybody. I mean, I get that a lot. They're like, "Oh, dude, thank you so much for being a teacher." And I'm like, I don't know if I deserve all the thanks, but I definitely appreciate them.
no, you do. You truly do. So how did you find your success on TikTok? Like for people that don't know, you're like kind of becoming a big deal. Like I've never known anyone. I've seen some people with like a few thousand followers and everything, but no one with nearly what you are you at 200,000 now?
I'm at 190. I've
Okay, you're
been like,
close.
yeah. Really, it like, I don't know. It kind of fell in my lap. Like, there were definitely there were some moments that, like, I was like, I grinded really hard to get to like 20,000. Um, and then, like, I think it took me a while to get to like 30 and 40. And then, like, but before all that, it took me like 2 months to figure out anything on
Yeah.
TikTok of like what I was doing. Like, I had literally no clue, and I just posted a lot and hoped and prayed, and it just kind of didn't work out. And then one day I posted one TikTok skit of me being a teacher and forgetting to close out my Zoom. And I then turned to streaming and was like yelling and screaming at a game. And some kid was like in the Zoom, be like, "Mr. Kearns, are you still there?" And like, that TikTok blew up. It was just a silly skit, and it just kind of blew up. And that kind of became the moment where I was like, I'm a teacher streamer, and I'm gonna run with that idea. Um, and then I posted like a couple tech tip videos over winter break when I think every kid was getting some type of technology, and like, I had a video hit like almost 8 million views, and it was just simple keyboard shortcuts, and like that kind of really blew up my TikTok. And we've just been chilling ever since.
So is that TikTok video, is that how you found your brand? Is that like kind of how you, because I'm always interested in that. How did you become who you became, or how did you build around with what you did? Like, was that the moment?
I think, like, I never hid that I was a teacher by any means, but like, I think that was the moment where I decided I was going to call myself the classroom. Like,
Okay.
"Hey, welcome to
Okay.
the classroom." That's when I changed all of the roles in my Discord to be like some type of school thing, even though it's just kind of silly. And then I started making more and more TikTok content of like me talking about being a teacher and jokingly doing skits about weird stuff as a teacher streamer. And yeah, so I mean, it kind of accidentally found my brand as a streamer. Like, before, I was just like, "Oh, I'm just gonna be super wholesome," and then I was like, I'm a teacher streamer. Like, here we go.
See, that's what I think that was a little bit of not a mistake, but I went into Twitch thinking I'm just going to be myself. Like it's how I
Mhm.
am normally. Like,
Right.
obviously I know my audience, and like, I'm not going to cuss around certain people or whatever, I
Right.
might hold some words I say back or whatever, but
Mhm.
I'm the same around my mom, my wife, my kids, my coworkers, strangers, you know what I mean? I'm always me. Like, so like
Yeah.
I'm going to Twitch like that. I'm going to be genuine who I am, and that's going to be my brand. But
Mhm.
it's more difficult than that. You kind of do need
Oh,
like something for people to grasp onto, like what
yeah.
is it, and the salt thing worked for me, and I think it's working for me, and I definitely think the classroom thing is working for you. I think it's a great idea, you know
Mhm.
um I love that you shout out the people who have tipped you and subscribed to you and done everything like that. And even the rage, you're always going on Twitter afterwards and thanking them and
Oh, yeah.
everything, because I've said it before, like the one statistic I don't look at is the money. I don't.
Same.
I maybe once a month I'll go click on it to see if it's a payout or something, or if that happened or something like. But other than that, I don't pay attention to the money at all because I never got into it for the money.
Right.
So with that, if you blew up, if you became the next huge thing, the next ninja, do you see yourself quitting your career and focusing on that? Do you think this could ever become a full-time deal?
So I've talked about this with a lot of people, like off stream and like in personal life, both Twitch people and non-Twitch people. Even if I blew up, it would take a lot of convincing to be like, I'm gonna quit my job and I'm gonna do this full time. Um, even now I think about like TikTok numbers and Twitch numbers. Like I cannot imagine how much more stressful that would be if I all of a sudden then have to look at every Twitch stream and TikTok as this financially has to do well. And so that it would just be a completely different universe for Twitch for me. Right now, Twitch is like, it's fun, it's exciting. Anything that I get is like, wow, that's awesome feeling. But like then it becomes a part, like I have to use this to support my family and figure out how to pay taxes and all that things. And so I really don't know. People always ask, would you ever quit teaching? Like teaching right now has been really rough with COVID. And so like
I could only imagine.
If COVID teaching was like going to be the rest of my next couple years, then yeah, I could see myself getting out of teaching. But I have other things that I think I would want to do. I think I would love to do something with tech, but I don't think I could ever. But legitimately, I don't think I could ever stop teaching. It's just who I am. I literally got in a Discord call with another TikToker who was helping me out with some like stuff, and he said, "Hey, could you get in a video chat with me and help me on my history assignment?" And we did that. I helped him literally talk and do all of his history assignment. And it's just a funny story now. Like I literally helped another young TikToker help him in his US history class. And like,
that's awesome. That's so amazing.
Yeah.
So since you love to teach, let's have a little classroom session. What is something when you started that, for new streamers trying to start, what's something that you just like thought you really needed or thought you had to have, or this is what you need to do to get going? What are some things that like you don't need? Like, don't stress out about these things to start going.
Like I feel like a PC definitely helps, and if you have one, use it. But like if you don't have the means of getting a PC, and we all know right now PCs is incredibly difficult to figure that stuff out right now. You have to know somebody to get the things that you need for PC parts at the moment. It's incredibly hard. But you could do it from your console. You could figure it out. It may not be the best streaming setup, but you could figure that out. If you have the PC, a camera, and a $30 camera is what I'm still using, and a $30 mic is what I started out on, and I didn't upgrade my mic until I was averaging 25 plus viewers, and then I upgraded my mic setup because of a very generous person offered to help me out with that. But yeah, you definitely you just need one monitor, probably a camera and a mic, and then whatever console you can go with. If it's a PC, use the PC. If it's just a console, just take it from there. You don't need fancy overlays. You don't need fancy alerts. You can find a lot of those things for free.
Yeah.
I still use a free overlay for my starting soon screen. Like, I beg, borrow, and steal everything that I found from other free websites that are just giving out things to people. And the other thing is just talk to people. You don't need to start from scratch. You can find communities that are willing to help kind of guide and help build you a little bit of like what you need for streaming.
See, I always try and break myself out of this. I've always kind of been an all or nothing guy, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, so like,
yeah, exactly.
So I, same things we talk about. I watched a video, I kind of saw it like, hey, you need this, 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 and this. I'm like, all right, boom, here I go. And even doing all that, I was like, oh, I don't know what to do now. I've had computers. Obviously, I did stuff at work and with school, and there was always a computer in the house. But I was never a techie guy. I never got super into computers. So when I bought this computer, it was my first time really diving into everything. So it was a big learning curve, and I think you know, I ended up streaming console games anyways, so it was one of those things where like I didn't really need to do all that in the beginning. So I definitely would say for new people, just see what you got around your house first and then go from there,
Yeah, for sure.
What's like the one upgrade that you made that you were like super excited about? Because like I'm at the point where I don't need a new mic, but I've been rocking this mic for a few years. I do the podcast, so I've always used this mic, and I'm now at the point where the technology's gotten better. So let me sound a little crispier, let me get a different mic.
Yeah, I mean, definitely having an extra monitor on hand was like huge. Like I love that. But like the biggest thing was like when I got my Go XLR. I mean, when I got my Go XLR, which does all the sound effects, you can do a bleep button, you can play different sounds. That was like one of the funnest things. Like I was super excited to put that together and just play with it. And I'm still playing around with it. Sometimes I get in Apex lobbies and I think about like I could really mess with some people, like do a little kid voice and just, mess with some people and like see what kind of funny videos that I could get out of it. That was probably one of the funnest things. Like, a lot of people are like, why do you need that? I'm like, you don't. Like a lot of people on TikTok see that and they're like, why? Why do you need that? I'm like, you legitimately don't. It's just a toy that I really wanted and I played with. Like it's like, did you need this? No. Did I probably buy it too quickly? Maybe. But do I regret it? No, I love it. I play with it all the time. Like it's good fun.
I think those type of investments are nice. The ones you buy and then like they sit in the corner and you never use it, and it's oh man, I did just buy that for no reason. Like for me, that was like the capture card because I was streaming from the console to begin anyway. So what did I need a capture card for?
Yeah.
But what's for? Because I'm still learning the whole setup deal. Did you build your PC? I see it in the corner over there. Were you the one who built everything, or did you buy a prefab or?
So my brother-in-law and father-in-law built his PC. Like they built PCs a couple years ago. And I knew my brother-in-law was super able to do that. So when I went to build my PC, I went to him and I said, "Hey, could you help me out? I'm trying to get a PC all set up." And he said, "Yeah." And he gave me like a generic parts list. And he said, "Here's a pretty decent budget PC that you'll be able to game on and stream just about anything that is currently out and probably the next generation, couple generations of stuff." And I said, "Awesome, thank you. That's all I need." So I built it. At that time, I was very new with computers, and he did a lot of the building. Like a lot of the building. I was like, I'm really terrified to touch this graphics card. It was $500.
Oh man.
Dude, like it's like I do not want to break anything at all. Please no. So he helped build it, and I had another friend that was also getting into PCs at the same time. We both built both of them in the same time in my basement. But then I just, not a couple months ago, I just built my little brother a PC.
Oh,
like,
nice.
by myself. I built it, and he was there with me helping.
That's awesome.
So I do know how to build a computer for anybody who thinks like, oh no, this guy's a scam.
I'm still getting there. Luckily, I have a mod, HJ. He's just super knowledgeable about computers and everything like that. He doesn't do it for a living or anything, but he's just so knowledgeable. So any type of question I have, he's always there to kind of answer those for me. So it's very helpful to have those type of people around. But for anyone interested, can you tell everyone your setup that you got going on?
So, I mean, I can actually show you all.
Let's do it.
There we go. So this is my current setup. Don't mind my closet. Those are all my costumes that I put on during stream. Wow, my setup actually looks pretty clean, unplanned. I don't know. I have 3 monitors, which is way more than any person ever needs. But it works super well. I got a Stream Deck, Go XLR, other fun things that I've just been playing around with these past couple days. If you don't have a Stream Deck and you have $100-ish that you want to blow, that's like, this is my favorite thing in the world to play with. because it changes all your scenes and that type of thing. And then I have a keyboard that was sent to me by a company from TikTok. But
That's awesome.
dude, it's way overkill. But like, after 8-9 months of doing this, and kind of having a great deal of success, it's definitely a blessing to have the setup that I have, for sure.
That is so cool. Like, that's one of the main things that I love about your stream is like, because you do have it on your TikTok, and some of your TikToks are your setups and everything like that. And every time I see that, I'm like, dang, it's just so sleek looking. How you set everything up. Is that the monitor you have to your right? Is that just for like a chatting monitor, or is that?
So yeah, I throw like right now I have your stream up on
Oh,
it.
okay.
But like I usually just use it for Discord, and I use it for
Oh,
Twitch chat.
nice.
So I have OBS on my left usually, which has Twitch chat on it. I just usually don't pay attention to it over there. And then to my right, I have all like my stream elements. So it has every follow, Twitch chat message, and it has all of like the rating out messages and that type of thing, which makes it super easy because I can see all those things here just in case if I miss something. But it works out really well. And then I have obviously my main monitor for gaming. And for the most part, like I know you can get really fancy with monitors. Like you can spend $500 easy. And my monitors, one of them was a gift, and it's probably about $100 monitor. My main monitor is 200, and my left one that I use for OBS was another $100 monitor. So, I mean, it looks amazing, but like I did it pretty cheaply compared to some people you can see on TikTok and that type of thing.
Yeah. I don't. I have two monitors, but technically this is a TV.
Yeah.
Technically, it was just a TV we had, and we were upgrading my daughter's TV, so I was like, well, we don't have any use for this TV anymore.
I'll take it. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
But sure. At this point, I do understand it is good to have a monitor. You can do a few more things on the monitor than you can an actual TV. So I think that is going to be one of the next upgrades I do. What is a program you used that was super helpful to you? Like I actually didn't even learn about like Nightbot and Stream Elements, like even that little stuff for my stream. I actually just found out about what Trigger Fire last night. Like I didn't even know about it. What's something that has helped your Twitch engagement, really, get to the point where it's at?
I think Trigger Fire is probably one of my favorite ones for on stream. And if you don't know what Trigger Fire is, it's a pretty easy software where you can either do it via channel points or commands in your channel, and they trigger different sounds, GIFs, and those types of things while you're streaming. And you hear them, chat hears them, and they're a lot of fun. Like I have a couple that are like, oh brother, this guy stinks. I have a sad one for when I die. I have the coffin dance, which is like hype music almost. I have all kinds of different.
That's definitely a popular one in your stream.
Oh my goodness, it's because it's so loud and they know that it's gonna get me way caught off. Like a sexy saxophone one. Trigger Fire is a lot of fun to play with. One for off stream is Canva. Like I've really gotten into like creating some things on Canva to then like post out. I've been really bad about posting my schedule, but like there for a while I was really consistent where I made a whole schedule and I would do it in Canva. And Canva is a pretty easy to work with free software for people to use.
Yeah, I just started using Canva for thumbnails. I was trying to start making thumbnails for my YouTube videos. So that's one I just also came across, What's been, who, I should say it like this, who would you contribute your success to? Like, I think we all we're ourselves, but we all try and emulate somebody. There's always like, okay, I like what they're doing, let me try and do that. Or who have been some streamers out there that you feel like helped you succeed and be where you are? Not necessarily like mold your stream, but more mold you and how you do things.
I've mentioned Uncle again like before, but Uncle, like we definitely share a lot of the same energy. I feel like I've heard it from other people, and I feel like Uncle and I are kind of on the same page. Like we share a lot of energy. But my moderators have been huge. Penguin streams, TK, Amy, like they've really helped like just make me kind of the person that I am and like help me present that in like the best positive light. Um, like they've been awesome to just help me out. There's another streamer named Ham All Kid, and he is the one that kind of taught Uncle and I how to begin the idea of trigger fire.
That's so
And
cool.
he puts on a really good like show, and like he has way more things than Uncle and I have going on, and he does it to like the max. And so like I'm trying to get to that level where I'm like, wow, this is, I can do so many different things with this. But those are, you know, Uncle, Penguin, Hamo Kid, like they've really helped me a lot. Like Uncle has the perfect charisma as a streamer. Penguin, when I first met him, you know, he had to take like a couple months off from streaming, and he was at like 15 average viewers, and then he dropped off a little bit because of that, which, you know, happens on Twitch very quickly. But like I went into his stream and I was the only person conversing with him at the second, and he never stopped talking even if I wasn't chatting instantly. I mean, and I was just like, wow, you're doing like he was doing an amazing job just talking and telling stories while playing Call of Duty, which I can't play Call of Duty whether I'm locked and focused, let alone streaming. So that was like, okay, that's pretty sweet. And then Hamal Kid with the trigger fire stuff. If anybody hasn't checked out Hamal Kid, I would go. He knows how to do it perfectly.
Yeah, you know, I've recently just found him within the last week. Was talking to him a little bit in Soap Stream, who's another good streamer. You know, it's always cool to see, because like when you're starting off, you know, you see streamers and you're like, oh, okay, I want to, if I could just get to that level, you know what I mean? And then like you see those streamers have someone else that they look up to, and like, I just want to get to that level, you know what I mean? So it's kind of cool to see that it never stops. There's always something that like you can do to improve and do better. I personally wish I just had the energy some of you guys have. Like there are times where like it's just not there. I try and talk, I try and blabber and just get it out there, and someone will comment on this, you know, but it's hard at times, you know. It's not always the easiest thing.
Oh, I mean, and I remember that. It was, I mean, before TikTok kind of blew up and I had more and more people coming in and popping in, it's hard to just consistently be talking and chit-chatting and just having a good time. But nowadays, like, it seems like I have a good core group of people that are all, you know, super happy to just kind of converse and chit chat and talk. But yeah, it's definitely hard for like early streamers and new streamers to get that to that place where you can just talk fluidly.
Agreed. It's the hardest thing for me. Like if I don't have something on screen that I can actually comment on, it's almost hard for me to like just talk. And I'm getting there. I'm starting to get there. And I think one of the things that has helped me is like I've told myself I'm going to try and make a YouTube video out of every stream I have. And maybe I don't post it, but I'm at least going to try and get a highlight VOD or something for YouTube for every stream I do, you know. So it's one of those things that has helped me out. For everyone in chat, I know you guys have been there. Hello, everybody. I'm sorry I haven't been talking to you guys at all. This is near the part of the stream where we start opening questions to you guys. So if you guys have any questions for Kerns that you want me to ask or you want him to answer, please drop them. I'm gonna ask a question before then, so you have time to type it in. But once again, thank you for coming in today. I really appreciate it. I know you got a busy stream schedule, plus life, but you are off.
Dude, which I have a lot of life off at the moment. A lot of life off, but no, dude, I'm never too busy to chit chat and hang out with people. That's the only reason I do this. I mean, 2 minutes before I was in this, I mean, I was just checking my sound in Discord, and somebody popped in. I was like, oh, what are you doing this summer? And we talked about his vacation plans for the next like couple months.
That's awesome.
That's the highlight of my day when I can just hang out and chit chat with people.
So I do have a question for you, and this is maybe a little selfish of me, but if you were in my shoes, what were some questions you would have asked?
Oh man, that's a hard question. I don't know. I think like as the podcaster, or is just a streamer in general?
The podcaster asking the streamer.
I don't know. I hate to do this, but I really do like I do like Soap's question.
Okay. I haven't even looked over there yet.
He says, Kerns, what is your next goal you hope to accomplish? I think that's a great question. I think that's a fantastic question to kind of wrap up. You know, or like
You
towards
stole
the
my
end
thunder,
of...
Soap. I was gonna ask. I was.
I think I mean you know, then I'll wait for Soap's question. But
No.
I
You're good.
think,
No, you're good.
I think you did a great job. You know, just chit chatting and talking. I mean, Soap or not Soap. So I think you have a great personality for podcasting. I mean,
Thank you.
I genuinely was telling you this last night in Soap Stream. I think you do a really good job interviewing people, and don't think about wherever you're at. Like, you know, I think you do a fantastic job interviewing. There's no need to be nervous, by any means. But, you know, I mean, I think one thing that you could talk about is maybe social media, like what people are doing on social media. You know, I only do really the TikTok thing, but because Twitter and YouTube and those things are just weird and scary. But I'm super excited that you're going to get into YouTube. That's a
Yes.
goal of mine.
I think you're right on that. So my last question is usually, where can everybody find you? What are all your social medias? But I think I need to start with that and then maybe end with that as well, because then it just...
I mean,
You hear it
either
twice,
way.
you know? You hear it twice. So let's go over there and see some of these. What is the most anticipated game over the next year?
Oh, that's the most anticipated game over the next year. Oh, dude, I have no idea. For me, it's Breath of the Wild 2 is like the game that I want. Like, if I don't, it's not going to be announced with a release date, but in E3, if it doesn't say something about Breath of the Wild, I will probably cry. No, like not actually, but like I'll be very upset.
They
like,
have to. They have to.
Like somebody, I was talking to somebody, they're like, there's no way that they're going to give a release date and it's going to be coming out at the end of the year. I'm like, but it'd be really cool if they did. I said, no, I kind of agree with you. I don't think that it will either, but I need more than what they've given me. Like that's, to me, that's my big thing. I think there are a ton of games though that I mean, New Horizons new sequel is gonna hopefully be showcased this month, or next week. Battlefield
That is a new
hopefully
one.
should be out. So I mean, I'm excited for those types of things. It's kind of one area of growth for me as a streamer. I need to be more in tune with what is coming out.
Yeah.
Like what is the next thing that is going to come out? Because like Uncle and a couple other streamers that I know have been playing Biomutant, and I knew nothing about it. And
I didn't
it was
either.
One of those games that was highly anticipated, and it kind of like flopped, but didn't. Like it just kind of fell stagnant.
That's my type of game too, which is crazy. Like those are the type of games I love. So it's just so crazy. I didn't hear anything about it. And then like I just went to Twitch one day and people were playing. I'm like, what is this game?
Yeah. So that's kind of like, I was like, oh man, I need to get into that.
Here's a question from Dwalt Coffee. What's the one game franchise you just can't get into? I have mine. I know my answer.
One game franchise that I can't get into. So like, it's not a franchise, but like I just cannot get into Warzone. Like I've tried my hardest to get into Warzone, just cannot do it. I think like I want to play with a couple more people to like see if I can get back into that kind of style of COD, but like I can't get into it. But there's been a couple others like Fallout looks amazing. Looks like a ton of fun. It's just I've just
You're
never
hating on my favorite game right now.
It's just been one of those things that I was like, I don't know if I can devote that amount of time and that love, because like I know they're so loved and so popular to people. I'm like, now that I'm like here streaming, I'm like, I just don't know if I can do it.
It's crazy to me too, because your favorite game's The Witcher, right? The Witcher 3.
Yeah, Witcher 3 is in Breath of the Wild. Like they're like neck and neck, but I think if I had to choose, I'd probably choose Witcher 3.
Okay. So let's go back to Soap's question. What's your next stream goal you hope to accomplish in 2021?
Next stream goal to accomplish in 2021. I hate like a numbers goal. Like I would love to be at 3K view or not 3K views. Oh
Bro, you can do it. You can do it.
3K followers by the end of the summer. That would be something that it would be awesome to be like, wow, I'm at 3K. It would be a good whole number, like round number, like right there at 3K. That's something that I'm kind of hopeful for. And I've always thought like, man, it would be really cool if it could average 30 viewers for a month. Again, those are like two numbers goals, and I try not to focus on them.
It sucks that Twitch
But
puts you in the situation where you kind of
yeah,
you have to a little bit, you know.
right,
Everyone has the goal once you hit affiliate to get to partners, so you
yeah,
kind of have to pay
uh,
attention to it a little bit.
a little bit. Like a non-numbers goal, I really want to try some day streams during the summer season, just because I have the opportunity to do so. I think next week I'm gonna try a couple
What's a
just
day
to
stream to
hop
you?
on. So like, just so I usually stream at 8 o'clock at night.
Gotcha,
So
gotcha.
like that's like nighttime. You
Mm-hmm.
have a whole nighttime audience. People are winding down, they're getting to computer, they've done most of their day and they're just willing to relax. And so I'm trying to like maybe tap into that like worker audience. Like, hey, it's mid-afternoon, I'm bored. Hey, Kearns is gonna
Mm-hmm.
be streaming. I can't wait to just kind of check that out. So that's something that I'm trying to get into during the summer. Um, and then as far as a whole, I just want to keep, just the momentum that I have right now and just keep meeting amazing people. I've talked about this multiple times, but for a couple months, my audience was very young, like very, very young, because they mainly came from TikTok. Some of them probably weren't even 13. They just couldn't tell me that.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
and so it's been awesome meeting older viewers that are my age,
Yes.
knowing people that are like, having the same situational problems, and things pop up in life as bills, kids, job, those types of things. And it's been awesome hanging out with them.
Yeah, you can't always help the age of your viewership,
Oh no.
When I got into this and even podcasting, my idea is like, oh, my viewership's going to be people like me, people around my age and stuff like that. And I learned very quickly that's not what it is.
I mean, and there was nothing wrong with young viewers. It's just a different world. And so it's been fun. It's been fun to have, like, now I have like the perfect balance. Like I have viewers that are more mature, and I have some viewers that are younger, and it's super fun hearing about both's day. Like, you know, before I just asked, how was everybody's day at school? Because
Yeah.
most of my audience was that way. Now
Yeah.
I get the opportunity to hear about people's jobs and their families, and that's even more exciting way to be like, oh, I could just hear about so many people's lives when they're like adults, because kids are like, I'm on Twitch to get away from my
Yeah.
family. Adults are like, they're willing to share. They're like, oh yeah, this is what I got going on in my
Yeah.
life, outside of Twitch.
No, it's super awesome to hear people's stories. And I think it's one of the having kids, it's not weird. I shouldn't say weird because everything's weird. It's weird to have people watching, you know what I mean? But like when you see someone younger jump in your chat, it was weird for me at first, but then it's like, okay, well, I'm out here creating content, so what do I expect? It's just I hope your parents know what you're watching. I'm not. It's not
Yeah.
nothing crazy, but there are some swear thrown out every now and then. But I do have my streams on 18 plus, so if you're pressing that 18 plus, that's on you at that point.
I even asked a couple of my younger viewers they were like, they're in high school, and I was like, do your parents know who I am?
Yeah, right.
And they're like, yeah, oh yeah, I tell my parents about you. And that part was like, oh my goodness. Some parent is like, oh, my kid is watching this random adult
Right.
on the internet. And we grew up in the era where every adult that you met on the internet was an
Yeah,
online
creeper.
creep.
Yep.
It was a creeper. He wants to come find and steal you.
Yep.
So that to me is like, oh my goodness. If I was in my parents
Yeah.
back then doing this, my parents would be like,
No.
this online
Yep.
person wants to take you away from.
That's how my parents were. I was like,
Yeah, same.
I'm blanking on the game right now. Oh man, I used to play this game on the PS2 though. It wasn't World of Warcraft, but it was like a MMORPG. And the PS2 was like the first game you could like log in, and I remember like going in there and chatting with people, and my mom would be like, "You can't play this. There's random people."
Yep.
So this next question, Soap and Penguin asked the question, kinda not really the same, but kind of hand in hand. Soap asked, "What was your biggest fear, mental hurdle towards streams?" And Penguin asked, "How did you get over the stage fright when starting streams?"
Okay. Biggest fear / mental hurdle. My biggest fear is, and this is my biggest fear in life, in Twitch in general. My biggest fear is always not being accepted by people. I I hate walking away from a conversation and thinking that person didn't like me. Like that is just it's a terrible fear because you can never help it.
Mm-hmm.
But like I hate that feeling of like, wow. So like, and you know, I'm one of those people that will lay in bed and then wake up and be like,
Man.
I should have said this.
I'm the same
Like, I don't know
way.
why I'm that way, but I'm like, oh man, I should have said this. It would have been perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so that's my biggest fear is not being liked. You know, I've had viewers that I've had for a long time just kind of disappear, and it's like, man, like I miss that person. You know, so that fear of being like afraid of not being liked or not being
Yeah.
perceived well by others, is always been kind of something that's in the back of my head. I think I've done pretty well because now I have a lot of people that I can go to and talk to. But before I felt really alone. And I think that kind of ties into my mental hurdle for Soap's question is at first I thought I was alone and I thought everybody was competition, like the first month.
Yeah.
And I was like, everybody's competition and I'm alone and in this. But like now, if you look at me, I'm like, you know, I shout out everybody. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, come and watch this person, go watch this person, go hang out here. And I love seeing that. Like, you know, I love when somebody's like, hey, Kerns, it was so cool seeing you in somebody else's chat. And I'm like, yeah, it was an awesome time hanging out there. And I love seeing that. So I think my biggest mental hurdle was don't think that you're alone. Know that you have tons of people around you that are willing to support you. And if you think that you don't have that person, anybody in chat asking a question, I will literally get in a voice call at 3 a.m. in the morning and to chat with you as long as I'm awake and I see it. I tell you, I'm awake a lot too late in the evening. And so don't ever think that you're alone. For Penguin's questions, the stage fright. So my very first stream, I told a ton of people I was going to stream a Friday night. I was going to play Valorant. And I told all my friends. I think I averaged 7 viewers that night, which is really good for your first stream. And I had myself worked up all day long. Like my wife was like, "Why are you wanting to do this?" But if you're so nervous, but I don't know what I expected, and I don't know who I thought I was going to let down. But I was so nervous about it, and I think eventually I just got in the mindset of like, I love doing this. If it takes off, it takes off. If it doesn't, I still have the ability to make these friendships and be friends with people, and just have an amazing time. And I think that's when I had to flip a switch of I mentally, it's not about anything other than I have amazing friends to hang out with. And that's I think how I got over the stage fright. And like sometimes I'm still nervous and scared. But like I'm just super like I hit go live and I wait and then I see the first person and like I'm just amplified. You know, at first I would hit go live. I would walk out of the room, you know, talk to my wife for 2 minutes and then come back in and then see chat. But like now I'm like, once I see that first person, I'm like ready to switch screens and chit chat and talk to people.
I'm still the one walking out the room. I'm still walking out the room when I hit the go live button.
It took me like 3-4 months. So I mean, it takes time, but
it's a little decompress. It's a little decompression moment. I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing.
It's not like, I mean, you have a starting soon screen, so nobody can even see you. But it's like, oh, if I don't see it, I don't sit here and think about it, and then I come back and I'm like, oh, there's one person already here. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to hop in here and go. And obviously, I think being a teacher helped because I just naturally talk all day long. You know, and so I think that helped with the whole stage fright thing.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've said this before and I've talked about it before. If I never took public speaking classes, I would not be able to do that. Like talking about social events or current events is what we would do, you know, like that was like the main thing. Like that was the main, you know, thing that we had to do is you look for a current event, then you had to come back and present it as in something that was cool. And then once again, you'd see people that like would craft this amazing story out of something. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. I'm going to try and do that, you know? So I think that's where everything's come from. And I'm kind of like you. I talk a lot anyways. So like there are times there is no one in my streams, you know, and like I still have a fun time talking to myself. I think I'm an idiot, you know, so but did we have any last questions before we wrap things up here?
Our last question, I think it's from Soap, and it says, how was your day's salt and kerns? I mean, my day has been amazing, Soap. I mean, I've been looking forward to this podcast all day long. You know, I slept in, got extra rest.
That's amazing.
You
You
know,
needed it for this.
yeah, I was like, oh man, I'm like, my wife got up and I played one game of Call of Duty and then I like went back to sleep and then I was like, I was ready, like, you know, but I had an amazing day. I hope everybody in chat also did.
Yes, thank you for asking. I had an amazing day. Work is always long, but had some good dinner, had a good workout this morning, some good stretches. So I'm feeling good, you know. I'm so happy that Kerns was able to hop in today. We didn't have any technical difficulties or anything that stopped the stream, so I'm super happy about that. I'm always worried. That's probably is my biggest fear about all this, is like, you know, you're chatting with people from across the country, so it's like, I hope nothing happens here, you know.
Yeah.
But for anyone that's still here, do you want to promote all your socials one last time to tell everybody where to find you?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm pretty easy. I got lucky. I'm ReallyKerns on everything: TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. I mean, you can find me everywhere. If you ever
Spelled
need to
like it is
message
on
me-
the screen.
Yep, spelled right there. Yeah, where that TikTok at? Yeah, ReallyKerns at TikTok. If you ever need to message me, Twitter's usually the easiest way to go because, you know, DMs all work and I can see them. But I am probably one of the most approachable people. I'm always willing to have a conversation and sit down and meet new friends and hang out. But yeah, ReallyKerns everywhere.
And what's your Twitch schedule for anyone that's trying to catch you there?
So Twitch schedule, like I said, I'm going to start some day streams, but those will be probably on Tuesdays. But Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I stream from 8 o'clock CST to 10:30, and then Saturday around noon is when I usually stream. But yeah, we just have a good time, and I play all kinds of games. I'm really a variety streamer at heart. We play Apex, Horizon, Zero Dawn, and a whole bunch of party pack games, and then like anything in between.
Awesome. And then the very last question for you: who is someone that you would love to see on an episode of A Dash of Salt?
I know. I think you've asked Uncle, correct?
I have.
I would love to see Uncle because I think he does an amazing job. I would love to see Soap, and I know Soap is probably like, gosh dang it, Kerns, I did not want your name, that name. But I would like to see Soap for the mere fact that I think he does an amazing job just chatting.
Yes.
Like he opens up every stream and just chats for about 30 minutes.
I wish I could do that.
Yeah, and he's like, holy cow, it's 30 minutes. What have I been doing? I need to get into the game. And we're like, Soap, we're here for the just chat. I know nothing about Final Fantasy. I'm here to chit chat with you. I think he does an amazing job, you know, at just chatting. And another person, the local penguin just told me that he was like at the level where he was getting looked at for like teams for Call of Duty to play. He was like telling me about that, and I was like, that's super insane. I had known Penguin for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months now, and he was telling me this story about how he was like playing really high level Call of Duty at one point, and then he went into the military. I'm like, that's insane. Well, so I was like, I would love to know more about that.
I would love to have him on the show.
But yeah, I mean, there's a ton of amazing people around us for sure.
All right. Well, I'll definitely reach out and hopefully we can see some of those people on. But thank you for everybody for checking us out. This may be, I don't know if I should release, I guess I'll release the info. We are having another episode of A Dash of Salt tomorrow. We have another guest. His name is Dwelt Coffee. He asked a question in chat earlier. He is actually from the UK, so it's going to be a little bit of a time difference, but I know you were saying about doing some day streams, Kerns. I love to watch Twitch early in the morning. It's like on my weekends, it's the number one thing I do, and the UK streamers are all out. So it's like the number one, like the people playing at that time. So I got into some UK streamers, so I think it'll be interesting to hear from him. So I hope y'all can tune in for that. And yeah, after that, we'll have Uncle Cranston on here in the near future. So be on the lookout for that one as well. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in to A Dash of Salt. ReallyKerns, thank you for coming in with me today. Please go check him out. Please go check him out. He's an amazing person. Check his TikTok out.
Thank you so much for having me again. You act like it was, a thanks to you, like you're thanking me, but like, dude, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor, man, for real.
When you're doing something like this, and I don't know, I always feel like I'm bothering people to do stuff. So it's like, no, I always appreciate it. But have a great night, Kerns. I'll probably be seeing you soon, I'm sure.
Of course.
And also, if you're ever down to come back again, people's growths are only coming and developing more. So I would love to have this conversation in like 4, 5, 6 months and see if anything's changed.
Dude, I will always be welcome to come back.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow. Actually, I'm still streaming. I'm still going to be streaming. Sorry. I'm going to take a quick break, but I will see you guys tomorrow with another episode of A Dash of Salt. Bye.
Bye, Salt.